don't know. That sounds kind of weird.
What do you mean?
I feel like the way I explained it sounded kind of weird.
It wasn't because, well, you've had experience with black dudes in the past about, most of the guys always try to talk to you or something like that. Do use these lame excuses to talk to you. So you was more weird. Trying to stay off and,
What's up, YouTube? It's Brittany,
Isha,
Fuchsia, and you're watching Brown Skin Sisters.
Okay, today you guys are going to be doing a Q&A, and we're just going to read off some questions and then we're going to answer them.
Yep, we're going to keep it simple today. We didn't want to do any reaction videos because it's
a
lot of work.
Right.
And also, I'm like over reaction videos for a little bit. So, let's get to it.
Okay, so the first question is, tell me about a time when you made an assumption and was proven wrong.
Okay, so for me, this happened recently. It took some time for me to think about this. But remember when we went to our brother's birthday party and I walked up to that woman and was like, can you take the picture?
Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
When I walked up to her, I had this assumption in my brain that, yeah, she would be like, yeah, sure, because any interaction that I have with people, 9 times out of 10, they are more likely to, give me a positive feedback.
Right.
So when she did that, it kind of took me aback, but, I summed it up. I don't know, let me tell y'all a little bit. So we went to my brother's birthday party. And I was like, come on, y'all, let's take a picture. Because I have this problem where I want to take pictures. I want to remember things. So I was like, come on, let's take a picture. Everybody's going to take a picture. So I walked up to this woman who was sitting down. And I was like, can you take this picture of us? But I was like, okay, I'm going to take this picture. I'm going to go over there and ask her to take a picture. I went over there. And literally as I'm walking over there and I'm asking her, hey, can you take this picture? Part of me was just like, this girl's not going to do it. Like, she's not going to do it. So she was just looking at me and she's like, no, I cannot. And I was like, okay, thank you. So I went around to the next person, which was a black guy. And for me, I have different feelings when it comes to black guys. Like, it's like a certain fear, kind of just a little bit. Like, I really don't know how to explain it, but I had this assumption that like all black guys are going to act a different way. But I walked over there to him and he just was like, yeah, didn't ask for my number, didn't ask for nothing. And that kind of felt good because I had this assumption like if I asked him, he's going to be doing all the extra stuff, but he really didn't. He just took the picture and he went on about his way. That was my assumption.
Right. Yeah, I looked at her face and I was like, oh, she gonna be a bitch today.
She definitely was.
She had that mug look on her face and I was like,
and I realized that after I had already asked her.
She was too ready to take the picture or have somebody take our picture so we can take this family picture that we haven't really took in a while, so lesson learned.
I don't know, that sounds kind of weird.
What do you mean?
I feel like the way I explained it sounded kind of weird.
No, it wasn't because, well, you've had experience with black dudes in the past about, most of the guys always try to talk to you or something like that. Do use these lame excuses to talk to you. So you was more trying to stay off and, I think it was more towards the white woman that you encountered more than not really the black man. Because
like she looked friendly. Like I thought she was gonna be like, yeah, sure.
I think you would have paid attention to her face, but because she looked really irritated.
She did.
But I think the black man, he saw the whole thing and he was like, oh no, I'll take your picture. He was like, he sits there and waits for Brittany to ask him because he knew she was probably gonna ask him to take the picture. So she asks him. He's like, oh yeah. And then he said something about the white woman.
I was like, but let me say this, like, when I walked up to the white woman, it wasn't because she was white. It was just because she was like right there.
Right.
She was. Like she was right there. Like she was the first person that I saw, and I was like, yeah, let me ask her. I wasn't even looking at anybody else. I was just mirroring her because, like I said, she was like right in front of us.
For me, I would have probably went to the black man because you know that little. I don't know if y'all saw that skit on Facebook where it's like when you the only 2 black people in the white crowd and you look at each other like. So that's how I would do it because of that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't trying to sound
not that I'm uncomfortable with white people. It's just I relate more to black people than I do white people.
I relate to both.
I mean, of course, I've had white people.
To be honest, I've had more positive reinforcements, like out and about with white people, and I had more negative things when it comes to my own race of people. Like for instance, with them boys that threw rocks at us at the car.
Yeah.
Like I had most of the encounters that I had with my own race of people were bad, were negative. So I didn't really have any bad occasions with different races of people. This was actually my first time experiencing that, so it felt kind of odd and it felt kind of different, but hey. But yeah, when he took that picture, it really showed me like, okay, I really don't have to be afraid. Like, some people are going to be this way and some people aren't, and that's just how it is, like, regardless of what color they are. But
yeah, something that happened in school, but I can't remember the guy's name. I don't know. He was, let's just say he was weird, but I'm weird, so I didn't have a problem. Like, no, at first I was thinking about, I took what other people assumed about him, and I believed it. But then once I actually met this person, and I was like, oh, wow, they were so wrong. He's actually a sweetheart. I was like, that's terrible.
You can't really go off of what people say most of the time because, I mean, like, you have two people in the crowd, you know, you're conversating with both of them, and one person, you're looking at them like, okay, we have nothing in common, but then you have this other person who you're talking to, and you're like, oh, wow, this person is kind of quiet, but at the same time, we're talking to each other, and we're actually, like, you know, communicating and, you know, have a lot of things in common versus me and this other person who are, you know, outspoken and stuff like that, but, you know, you're not the type of person to actually, like, go up to people and talk to them, but when you do conversate with people who are, like, kind of share the same kind of, body language as you, that it's like, oh, okay, we do have something in common. I remember this incident when we first started hanging out, or we first started actually coming over here with Brittany, our sister, like 2 years ago, and she had these neighbors across the street from her, and they're all white people and stuff like that. You know me, I don't like to really, I would feel like uncomfortable being like one or two, or like the only black person in like a whole area full of white people or whatever. But, you know, she told us about them, and then when they had like this little get together and stuff like that, bonfire over there, and, you know, she wanted us to come up there with her. So we go over there, and, you know, I'm like, it's a lot of white people over here. And, you know, I have this assumption where when it comes to white people, I don't know if it's the curiosity of black people, and when it comes to our hair, and, you know, we're totally opposite. Everything about us. It's like, I don't know if it's like if they're like curious, or if it's like kind of like, you know, throwing shade towards black people and stuff like that. But, you know, we went over there and we hanged out with them, and we was like, oh, okay, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, because, you know, they're actually pretty cool to talk to. And I get now that they're like curious and they're like fascinated with us, whereas you got the people who are like, you know, no black people and stuff like that. But
me being like, because remember, I knew them before y'all did. So when I went over there, I was the only black person in the crowd, and I had never been in a situation like that. Like, I don't know if situation is the good word to say, but I've always been around people of my own race. So I've never been like in a whole setting where it was just me who was a black person. And although it was very uncomfortable, because again, I'm used to being around my own color and my own race, but they were really, really good people. And I think that's like where it came from when it came to the public situation with that woman, is that I expected that woman to be just like them, and when she wasn't, that was like like I had to remember, like, not everybody is going to be kind, not everybody's going to be nice. I have to remember that. But yeah, that was kind of like the start of me. I mean, I was always nice to people regardless, and I've always had nice encounters with other races of people, so it's not just like, oh, this one time it made a bigger difference. But
I've always had, most of my bad experiences was with white people. It wasn't really with black people, because, you know, like I said, when we was growing up and we was in high school, we had a very diversity school, so it was like mainly black and Mexican, you know. It wasn't really that much white people there. So it was like, you know, I'm going to this new environment where it's just mainly white people and stuff like that. I was like, but like I said, I had a bad experience when it came to white people. Like I said, it was more of a, you know, I get white people are curious when it comes to black women and their hair and stuff like that. I don't know if it just makes me uncomfortable, especially when you like, you know, our hair is a part of us and stuff like that. You have people like wanting to touch it and stuff. I didn't know what I was walking into, because I was like, oh, maybe are they curious, or they just, I don't know, maybe they fascinated by it, or they just want to throw some negative comments in there and stuff like that. I get people they want to, you know, they're curious and they want to ask questions and stuff like that, but other times, I don't know, I feel like, I just feel like it's like a bash to black people sometimes.
I feel like it's based on social media.
Yeah, it is based on social media. I don't know, like I said, I don't know if it's a curious thing, or, you know, you've never been around black people before, or
they just don't know how to
react. Listen, if you're a hairstylist, and I'm saying this to white hairstylists, not POC hairstylists, if you're a hairstylist, that is the only way you should be touching a black person's hair.
Right.
Because you're actually doing their hair. If you're just some random person talking about I don't even like it when my family members touch my hair. I don't know where your hand's been. Stop.
Well, the encounter that I had it kind of threw me off a little bit. obviously I didn't see that coming. Right. I mean, but when that happened to me, it was kind of like, oh, okay. It like, maybe because I knew the person. Deep down inside, it was like when she put her hands in my hair, it wasn't a notion of me and being like, bitch, what is wrong? Right. Like, it was like, okay, she put her hands in my hair. It was not like a negative thing for me, but I get it, like, y'all have different perspectives on how I feel. But obviously, I wouldn't let no random person, like, I knew her. Yeah. I wouldn't let, like, some random person walk up to me, some random white person walk up to me and put their hands in my hair. Right. Like, I wouldn't let that slide. Right. But because I knew her and I had, you know, I want to say encounters with her, it really didn't bother me because I knew, like, she was really just like, oh my God, I love your hair. Obviously, not everybody's gonna like you touching their hair, but because I remember seeing a post on Facebook like years ago where it was these black girls who was standing with signs out in public and they was like, it's okay to touch my hair. You can touch my hair as a white person. Go ahead and touch your hair because, you know, we have this thing where we don't like people touching our hair. But for us, our hair is literally our identity. It is, so obviously we don't want people just randomly touching our hair because it makes sense. Yeah. But for me, I had a different encounter. It was like, I know she's not being maniacal. She's not being mean. She's not being like, oh, this snappy shit. Like, she's not being that way. At least to my perspectives of that encounter. But I could be. I don't know. I don't know. And everybody's different. That brings up another incident when I was at work and I was working at my job and, you know, I had my hair out and it was curly and I even dyed it too, so it was like curls was popping on fleek. And then this white girl comes up to me and says, is that your actual hair texture? And I'm like, she's like, I said, yeah, this is my natural curly hair. She's like, oh, you're so lucky. And you think like, what does she mean by that? No. The way she said it was like, oh, really? So you saying like this can't be my actual natural hair color? You know, it doesn't take that long to do it. It was, I don't know. It's the way she said it that was like really irritating me, and I was like, thank you. She would just look like I can't really. It's like telling her how like you have a white person come to you and you got braids in your hair, and she'd be like, oh, your hair is so lovely. How did you get like that? I can't explain to you the process of how I add braids to my hair and stuff. Like, what? Come on. I just don't feel like doing that. But yeah, that was another incident. I was like, oh, is it going to be one of those moments again when I had to tell them about my hair and they just so shocked at how my hair is this texture or whatever?
I don't mind the braids when it's weave. I don't mind when they touch the weave.
Or when you have...
But it's with my neck. When it's
right. Like I said, I've had bad encounters with white people. Like another time where it was at Target and a lady literally asked me, I don't know, I can't remember if I went natural then, but she literally, older white lady, comes up to me when I'm ringing people up and says, do you know anybody who does a quick weave? I said,
what makes you think that I would know?
It's because I'm and black. Why do you want to know? What the hell?
I don't know if she did. Like I said, I looked at the lady and I'm like, why did you can't even quick weave on you? Are you talking for yourself or something like that or what? But yeah, I was like,
I don't know. I feel like sometimes some people, non-black people mean well and some people just don't.
I get it. Like I said, some people just really curious about
that too. Yeah. But I've also encountered people who date outside their race and then they breed biracial kids and they may see your hair texture and be like, oh, my kid is just like yours and it's nappy. And it's like,
nappy.
As a white person saying that, it's racist. Like,
I'm sorry, I'm going to automatically assume you're racist if you say that to me.
That's
I'm
like,
not going to take it any other way.
You decided to have a kid with the black person and you are upset because
it didn't come out the way you thought.
Listen, I'm gonna need y'all to stop just having kids with any and everybody. And second of all, I'm gonna need you to, if it don't take that much to do hair.
It reminds me of Doja Cat.
Whether it's nappy or not,
cut off her hair that much. Yeah. But over the years, she been saying
she hates her hair texture. She has a white mom and she has.
But I'm using this as an example though. I'm saying, see, she's a biracial girl and her hair is similar to like our hair textures. 4C, well, our hair is not 4C, but you know what I mean. It's similar to our texture than it is of a white person.
What is our texture? Is it 4A?
Girl, I don't know.
I think it's a 4A.
Maybe we'll do a test. We'll do a test in the future. We choose a day where we're going to wash our hair because your hair has to be completely clean in order for you to do it.
Just water, I think, in there. I don't know.
But you have
my textures is all over the place.
I really don't have a specific texture. Sometimes I got 4C.
Like when I have
hair textures in my hair.
It's like an afro when I don't put no products or something in it. Like it's like a curly afro when it's just water and I just let no products and dry without products on it. But when I put products, it's like more defined, like a 4A or 4B.
We'll talk about that in another video.
But yeah. This is a video.
18 minutes.
Oh yeah, this is definitely another video. Well, there's no point in asking more questions because this video is
we're gonna do another question.
Okay, one more question, I guess.
But thank y'all for watching, but we're gonna have a part 2.